Good afternoon and welcome to Sweater Freak's Knitting Lounge episode 14 or 15. I don't remember. I have to check. I'm Jenny, Sweater Freak, the knitter and designer behind this channel. And if you're here for the first time, get cozy. And thanks for finding me. And if you are a repeat watcher, well, welcome to the channel again. And thank you for staying with me. Again, this would be probably a short update. I didn't do anything last week. I didn't do an episode last week because it's been really busy and I couldn't spare time to record anything. Sometimes it does happen, and also because sometimes there's just not a lot to talk about, so it's been 2 weeks since my last update. As you know, on this channel, I mostly talk about my knitting, my designing. I only knit. I don't do any other crafts. Just, I don't know. I'm always a little bit envious of people who dabble in, weaving and spinning and all these things, but it just seemed to be more of a concentrated, focused person, I guess, in my daily life. So if I'm into knitting, I'm really into knitting, So, oh, I forgot to tell you where you can find me if you don't know. I am Sweater Freak on Ravelry, Instagram, and here on YouTube. Yeah, so without further ado, let's dive into it. So this morning, when you would be watching it, it's Tuesday morning, this pattern that I'm wearing, this sweater, which is called Minecrafty Sweater, it's just plain, aside from the color work, will be released. And this is my first color work release in 2 years. I can't believe it's been that long. I've just been distracted on other things that I seem to want to release first. And sweaters sometimes they take a backseat, and so that's what happened. But this fall I really wanted something made with the Lopi yarn I bought in 2012. So this I'm going to talk a little bit about this yarn because I think it deserves an extra talking about. So this yarn is Plodo Lopi. It's Plodo, and it comes in a plate. Actually, I didn't. Hang on a sec. Give me a sec. I'll be right back, and I'll show you the plate because you gotta see the yarn plate. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So this is what's left out of the yarn I had, which I had a lot. And so I'll backtrack a little bit back to the spring of 2012 when I was, my gosh, it seems like a lifetime ago. And I was, so I'm not a very sensitive person to wool. Like, I'm actually wearing this just over my bra. So I'm completely I'm just wearing a bra under it. And, I can wear that and not feel uncomfortable. So I'm not very sensitive. I prefer wools that are non-superwash. And back in those days in 2012, this was before the hand-dyed craze and before, superwash merino hand-dyed explosion. And I was really gravitating towards traditional wools. And I found a cheaper place to buy them directly from Iceland, from a store called the Nordic Store. Okay, and I bought a lot from them because it was very cheap, and so I just went kind of crazy. So I bought 3 plates. I'll show you the full-size plate because I basically have enough to make another sweater like this. It's very economical. So this literally comes in a plate like this, and it's unspun yarn, so it's very fragile yarn. You cannot tug at it. It'll break. But the good thing is it's really easy to join to. Once you knit it into fabric, it's very strong, and it's just it's super light. It's basically weightless and super warm, and it's just like a woolly hug. Guys, if you are not sensitive to wool, you gotta try Plodo Lopi. Now this yarn is available still from the Nordic store in Iceland. And also you can buy it from Schoolhouse Press. You can buy it from all kinds of retailers in the United States as well as Canada. So I bought 3, so I have 1.5 left. And also a good thing about it is that you can combine it with Let Lopi, and it'll knit up to the same gauge more or less. So the white is Let Lopi, and the gray, the dark gray, is the Plodo. Now the difference between these yarns is that this is a much more substantial yarn. It does not break easily. This is the Let Lopi, which is the lighter version of the Lopi yarn. And this one is, I used the Reynolds one, which I've had for years, but it's the same thing as the Istex, it's made by Istex. But this brand, this company doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, if you have Lopi in your stash that knits up to 18 stitches per 4 inches, this sweater is the way to go. And what I wanted to do with this project is I wanted something that will defy trends. So something that's simple, and for me that's always black and white, because traditional color work, I don't have any Icelandic books about color work, but I do have the Selbo Norwegian books here. I really love this kind of aesthetic, is that allows you to go crazy with patterns, but it just maintains, you know, the grayscale basically, like the black and white. So I will have to review these books at some point. But basically, I wanted to do black and white, and I wanted to do something busy on top here, and then just plain black. And that way you can combine it with, you know, a suit pant or a suit skirt or jeans. It'll basically be like you can wear it at any occasion, unless of course you're in a corporate environment and you're required to wear a blazer. Then of course you cannot wear that. But I would say 90% of the work situations, office situations, you know, you could totally combine it with a more traditional formal attire, and you can get away with it because it's black, you know, and black always gives a bit of formality to your outfit. Now, late last year, I released a cowl that's reminiscent. It's a different chart. It's a totally different chart, even considering that this is a yoke chart, so it'll be different, but this is actually a different chart. I did call the sweater and the cowl the same name, just because I'm not very inventive with names these days, but this is a totally different yarn. This is a Yowza by Ms. Babs, and it's very soft yarn. It's kind of floppy, merino superwash. So I really like the kind of busy black and white thing, and I know it's sort of you either really hate it or love it kind of thing. And I wanted to do a hat too, but then I kind of decided against it because, I don't know, it's too much maybe. So yeah, that's what, and if you are my newsletter subscriber, you should have a special discount code in the newsletter. So yeah, go ahead, grab it, and it's a quick knit because it's an Aran weight gauge basically, and it knits up super quick. You could probably knit it in 2-3 weeks and wear it this winter for another, you know, couple of months. So there's that. A couple of things I cast on this week. I have, as you noticed, my last episode, I talked about the hood, the ribbon welt hood scarf. And so I cast on, Rebecca from Clinton Hill Cashmere sent me cashmere to knit a sample in her yarn, which is what I'm doing right now. So it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this color. It's so classic, and I think it's gonna look fabulous. You cannot be more luxurious than cashmere. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm knitting it super quick because I do want to release this pattern in mid-February in order for people to actually knit and wear it this season. It was a little bit of a last-minute decision to do this project because of all this craze of hood scarves, and I kind of wanted to capitalize on this because I'm not sure if it's gonna be popular in the fall. So a few people emailed me and said, we want this. So I thought, okay, well, might as well just do it now. Yeah, and then what I wanted to do, because I haven't actually cast on anything for myself in months, I got inspired by the Knitting Place, the ladies over at Knitting Place. They have a kit, a sparkler hat, which is a simple kit of yak wool, and it's paired up with not sequins, the paillettes, how do you pronounce it? I don't know. And theirs is a lot less blingy. Like this what I got is pretty blingy. So I went through my stash. I found these paillettes I got. These are really there's a lot of paillettes per inch, so it's very, very you know, blingy. And this is a merino, so because it's a smooth yarn, it doesn't obscure the bling, so it really stands out. But I think because I'm such a plain dresser in my everyday life that I actually wouldn't mind a little bit of a bling, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I am really concentrating on finishing the hood, the scarf hood, and then I'll be moving on to something, to exciting spring and summer projects, because it's almost February and we're always a season ahead, right? And I'm not like other designers that have like a queue of patterns that they have prepared. I don't have the luxury of having the time to do that. So I basically have to always kind of hurry up and work on stuff so that I'm not there with nothing to release. Yeah, before I forget and before I say bye, I wanted to actually mention something. This sweater, because it's a coarse wool, and I mean, I use this for everything. I use Eucalan it's a non-rinse wash, and I think this is a Canadian product, because I don't think I've ever seen this in any American retailer, and I think that in the States the soak is more common, so I've never tried soak. But I do really like Eucalan, and so it gives a little bit of like a eucalyptus smell, or I mean, this is eucalyptus, there's other flavors or smells they have. And one thing I wanted to also mention about the bind off, so my sweaters, I really like to bind them off like the normal sweaters that are not knit from unspun yarn. I like to use sewn and bind off, so either a 2x2 rib or 1x1 rib, or just a sewn bind off with like a tapestry needle. On this yarn, I did that too, but I really regretted my decision to do that, because once I started, the yarn kept ripping, because it's such a fragile yarn that you could actually, the sleeves I did with a regular bind off, and it's totally fine. So you could even simplify your bind off, and I know for a lot of people, bind off is kind of like takes longer than the actual sweater. You know, I made, so this is the sewn bind off on the edge here. It turned out okay, but I think that it's not really necessary, and because the yarn is so fragile, I would actually advise against it. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to mention about this pattern, and I hope you really like this sweater, because I love it. I did pictures on Saturday, and then I'm wearing it now. I'm not taking it off. I absolutely love it. I think it could be a great sweater for all kinds of occasions. And if you've never worked with Icelandic yarn, you're in for a treat. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As usual, if you'd like to ask a question or a comment or any suggestions for future episodes and discussions, do drop me a line in the form in the show notes or here. And thanks for joining me, and have a great week. Bye.